Hello everyone and welcome back. Hope you're having a great day and we're all doing well. So Ubisoft very kindly allowed me to have a little chat with some of the developers of Rainbow Six Siege, allowing to get some insights and some questions into Year 9 Season 3 and Scopus. And in this video, I want to cover some of the answers that my questions and some other fellow creators' questions got as well, mainly to do with Deimos' current situation in the lore, and as well as this, the relationship between Kure, Gerald, and Daniel Bogart. Just want to say before we get into this video, if you haven't already, hit that sub button since we are trying to hit 200,000 subscribers. Drop a like on the video if you do go on to enjoy it, and let's get into this. So the other day, Ubisoft officially released the press kit for Operation Twin Shells, and we got a bunch of really high quality images of some of the teasers we got for this season, some key arts, and just a lot of stuff which is really good for media and content creation. Now, in one of these images, we can zoom in very far. Like I said, the quality is that good and it retains it when you zoom in, and as we can see on some monitors, there is a profile of Gerald Morris, and on the other one it seems to be 3 people, which we can confirm from that interview I have done, and we can also kind of tell anyway that that is Gerald Morris on the left, Kure in the middle, and on the right is Daniel Bogart. Well, what is the significance of them as characters? Why are we focusing on these 3 legacy Rainbow Six characters? Why is Kure so in deep with Gerald? Well, I actually have been given confirmation that Gerald Morris, Kure Galanos, and Daniel Bogart were a canon squad together from Rainbow Six Rogue Spear up until that 2012 mission in which Gerald defects, kills Daniel, and Kure is injured. Of course, if you've played the older Rainbow Six games, you can choose your squads. You do put these operators together and you can pick which squads you go into. However, we do now have confirmation that from the story perspective and from Ubisoft's perspective, canonically in these missions, there are squads in which operators would work together frequently. And one of these squads was this one led by Daniel Bogart, which included Kure as the sniper and Gerald as the demolition expert. That is why Kure is so close to the story, because she personally worked alongside Gerald in this canonical squad, which we now have confirmation is these 3 operators who work together throughout these missions. So that is why she is so close to Daniel Bogart. That is why she is so close to Gerald Morris. They weren't just other members of the Rainbow team which all knew each other, they were actually a squad together, and this led them to be very close with each other. Now, I do wonder if we'll maybe get a better look at what is on these screens maybe later in the season. It does look like we do have somewhat new renders of Gerald Morris's face as well as Daniel, and of course Kure before her accident as well. So it could be really cool to see what Gerald looks like, I guess, under the mask. We have seen what he looks like in the comic books, but it's not a true reflection usually of what it looks like in game. Maybe like a Deimos elite skin could be really cool. They might even make him a younger version of Gerald Morris. Would be a really fun thing to do, and maybe put him in some like classic, you know, Raven Shield or Rogue Spear attires. But what we do get from this is that the legacy operatives which are returning, which so far have been Gerald and Kure, aren't just necessarily being picked at random, and they actually have a history together, and in this case are very close since they were in the same squad. Now let's also jump over to what we were talking about when it comes to Deimos, because we got a little bit of insight into his current situation. We didn't really know what role Deimos was serving after he was captured. He was captured by Rainbow. We then saw that he was kind of doing a deal with them. If they brought him onto the field, he would give them information. So after that, we haven't really seen much about Deimos. We know that the intel he gave on that Chalet mission was actually correct, which has led them to the safe house in Greece where Dokkaebi and Skopos infiltrated it. So a lot of us really didn't understand at what point Deimos was at now. Is he good? Is he working with Rainbow? Are they allies with him? Is he working on the field? Is he a full Rainbow operative now? And the insight we got is that no, Deimos is still bad. They still don't trust him. They still don't work with him in a sense that he's on the field. He was sort of referenced and compared to Hannibal Lecter, where you only sort of trust him as far as you can throw, don't take everything he's saying as the truth, still keep him locked away in his cage and keep him at arm's length. But if you have some questions, you can turn to him. Just don't think that everything you're going to get in response is 100% true, which I honestly think is a pretty good spot for Deimos to be in right now. I think it would have been kind of cheap if he was like magically a good guy now and he's going on missions with them and they trust him with a weapon beside them. No, he's still locked away. They are still using him for their advantage, not necessarily trusting everything he says, but at least giving it a grain of truth to at least see where it can go. And with each seemingly truthful thing he's saying, he is somewhat gaining a bit more trust. You still don't have the abilities and capabilities to trust him all the way and still keep that upper hand over him. It would be nice to see what Kure has to say about him. Of course, we haven't seen the battle pass or the comic yet. I would like to see him maybe still in his cage in the comic, just to sort of reinforce this fact that he isn't an operator, because I think a lot of people do get a bit confused about that. They see Deimos is playable and they see the cinematics and like, oh, I guess this guy's a good guy now. No, he's still not a good guy. He still isn't working on the field with them. They are just using him basically for as much as they can. Don't take everything at face value, but still there is stuff to be gained from that. But he still has enough value to keep around, and he definitely will contribute more in the future. So it was pretty cool to see that Gerald, Kure, and Daniel have now been confirmed that they were a canonical squad who were close with each other. They worked together on multiple missions, and now that this betrayal happened, of course, it was very personal. It wasn't just a squad mate on the team. It was a close friend who you worked with constantly and closely together. Especially with the image showing a KIA report of Gerald Morris, it is going to be quite interesting to see how Kure reacts to him being alive and him also being responsible for the injuries she now had. I definitely think a Deimos Elite skin could be a really fun thing to release right now and would make a lot of sense with this lore, because I just want to see what Gerald Morris looks like in game in a modern day setting. I also think now would be a perfect time to sort of remake some of the older Rainbow Six titles. Now, faithfully, may I add. Still keep it the same system as before, but we get a little bit more in-depth look at these older operatives. Of course, you'd have like modern day models, and you could expand their bios a little bit. And when it comes to the overall story, there's still a lot that can happen right now. Of course, we just had that mission in which Dokkaebi and Skopos retrieved the info to take down the Kira's Legion. We still hardly know anything about the Kira's Legion, so a lot of that is still to be seen about, you know, who they are, who's funding them. If Deimos isn't part of them, they can clearly still operate fine, and as well as this, they were seemingly the ones who extracted him from that mission in 2012, so this is something which is way beyond, you know, even that mission and beyond Deimos, so still so much more to learn. So yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this little lore update. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Catch you all later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.